Hey everyone, welcome to PHENOMSOUND. For today's tutorial, I've cooked another heavy NEUROBASS for you guys. I've used it in this NeuroHub demo and I'm really excited to share it with you. Check this out. And as always, you can grab this FL Studio project, all of the samples and presets from it on my Patreon page. There is a tremendous amount of presets, samples and projects on my Patreon page, so if you join it, you won't regret it. Plus, I have two 6 Serum preset packs available in my Patreon shop. The one is available with a 30% discount, so make sure to check the previews. The links are below. I would really appreciate it. And here's how it sounds solo. And for this particular sound, I'm using the Monster 2 wavetable on both oscillators. And those wavetables from this Monster section are very good for neurofunk sound design because those are quite sine wave-ish. Particularly the Monster 7 one is looking a bit like a sine wave with some variations, with some movement, and Monster 8 as well, and the Monster 9, but this one is a bit more sharp looking. So any processed sine wave is really good for neurofunk sounds. So we are using the Monster 2 and setting the octave to -2 on both of them, setting the number of voices to 2 on the first oscillator and to 4 on the second one. Let's get rid of the post-processing. Nice, let's move the random phase all the way down because we want this sound to be solid, to sound exactly the same each time we are triggering it. We don't need no random variations. And set the tune on the first oscillator to 0.3. Let's go to the global tab and set the width on both oscillators all the way down. I prefer making it mono and legato. Nice, let's enable the noise, set it to the ARP white, move the pitch all the way up and set the level at 12 o'clock. Now let's get to the Fixes tab and enable the distortion, move the drive all the way up. Now we have this super fat-ass wrist bass, which is going to be more badass in a couple of minutes. Let's add some pitch sliding effect using the first LFO. Make the envelope look like this. Enable that red triggering and set the rate to 2 bars. And use it to automate the master tuning inside of the Matrix tab. Make it unipolar and select the LFO number 1 as the source. Here in the amount, set it to 3. Nice, we have a kicking sound, which makes it really heavy. Now let's add a tiny bit of the filtering using the flanger minus filter. Enable the filtering of the B and of the noise oscillators and set a cutoff at 220. You can basically set this cutoff knob to any position you like. I prefer it to be really slight effect to not give too much flangering to our sound, so I'm setting it to 120. which is sound pretty close to the original sound, but this one is going to be a bit more distorted and more heavy. And to make it heavy, let's set the drive at around 40. Awesome, let's get back to the Fixes tab and enable the hyper dimension, set the mix on both hyper and dimension at 15% and the size at 6%. Enable the flanger, phaser and a chorus and set the flanger at 50%, phaser at 40% and a chorus depth at 2.5 milliseconds. So now we have a bit more width, a bit more space to the sound. Let's compress it using the multiband compressor. Set again at 11.5 decibel. High frequency compression at 40. Mids and lows at 150. Now we are like in a bit of the high end, but we are going to bring it back during the post-processing stage. And finally, let's use another filter. This one is going to be a slight touch of the reverb filter, with the cutoff set all the way up and the resonance set at around 15%. This filter with these kind of settings is slightly saturating our low end and some mid frequencies, unsharpen the highs, which I really like. And this is it on the Serum side. Let's take a look at the post-processing. First, I'm EQing it. I'm creating some sort of a gap from 350 Hz to around 3500 Hz. So it creates this accent on the low frequencies and on the high frequency noise. Then I'm compressing it using the OTT. I'm setting the downwards compression at 16%, high frequency compression at minus 7.5 decibel, mids at minus 6.5 decibel, and lows at around minus 2 decibel. Then I have another EQ, removing some of the 100-150 frequency mod, and putting some unsharpened EQ bands here and there. You can hear that as we reduce this 150 frequency mod, suddenly our mix is getting a bit brighter and all the above starts sounding really bright and crispy. And I have another final compressor to bring up the high frequencies, and I'm almost disabling the downwards compression, setting it at 3%, raising up the high frequency compression to 4 decibel, setting the mids at 2 decibel, and really reducing the lows to minus 20 decibel. Yeah, this one sounds a bit more subby, but in this final variation of the mix, we have a bit more acoustic system friendly sounding, which is going to be audible through any type of audio system you're using to output your song, and it sounds really less muddy, I think. And finally, I'm limiting it using my favorite limiter called Boost from Ursa DSP. Setting the attack time at 5 milliseconds, and that's pretty much it. By the way, one quite important thing to know, I'm bringing this sound back to mono using this FL Studio stereo separation knob. So originally it would sound like this. And this is the effect of our hyperdimension, flanger, phaser and a chorus. But we need just a slightly touch of all this stuff. So I'm setting it at around 90 or 80%. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Leave a comment, share your opinion. I would really like to hear what you think about this fat-ass bass. Subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Like this video, and we will see you in my next video. Bye!